You guys have told me about the 5-5-5 method in the Instant Pot for hard-boiled eggs. And I have a lot of eggs. My sister-in-law gave me some from her chickens, and we have a friend that we always get our eggs from, so I have an abundance of eggs right now. We're gonna make some hard-boiled eggs for the different kinds of deviled eggs that we're making in this recipe. So the 5-5-5 method, from what I hear from you all, is that you put your eggs into the Instant Pot, put a little bit of water in it. I have the rack in here that came with the Instant Pot. You pressure cook them for 5 minutes, then you let it naturally release for 5 minutes, then you put them in an ice bath for 5 minutes, and they are really easy to crack, and they come out at the perfect texture and consistency for those deviled eggs or hard-boiled eggs. Okay, I'm gonna add my water in. Okay, eggs are going in, lid on, and set to sealing. Pressure cook for 5 minutes. And then we'll let it naturally release for 5 minutes. Friends, we are in deviled egg season. Everybody has deviled eggs at Easter, and I thought it would be fun to do several different kinds. So I've picked a few. My husband here has picked a recipe that he's gonna do. The first one we're gonna make is a very standard deviled egg recipe. However, at the end, right before we go to the plating function, we're gonna add a little something that just takes it next level. So you can make the standard recipe, or you can take it next level like we're going to. So we're only gonna be making 4 eggs, so 8 halves for this recipe. We're cutting all these down because at the end of this, we don't need 5 dozen deviled eggs. So we're just going to take the eggs that we've already cooked in the Instant Pot, and I'm going to slice through, hopefully open. Yes. Okay, so all of my eggs, although the Instant Pot was a really great way to cook these because the shell came off right away, all of them, the yolk is like off to the side. I'm not sure what happened there or if there's a reason. If you know that off the top of your head, please comment and let me know what that was. Like this one, for instance. Is that even usable? I don't know if that's even usable, to be honest. All of them are like that.
That's weird.
It's so weird. So we're gonna pick through and find.
That's weird.
It's so odd. We're gonna find the best ones. Look, all of them.
That's bizarre. Are we doing yours first and then mine?
Yeah. Is that all right with you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of these might just use 1/2 of it.
Yeah, make egg salad out of the other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I will have the recipe in the description box like always. So we're adding about, gosh, it's really just a couple tablespoons of mayo to this recipe. So it's like 1/8 of a cup, okay? We also want to add Dijon mustard. That is another thing. You can do like a whole grain Dijon if that's your preference. We just have this regular Dijon, and I'm gonna be adding about 1/2 teaspoon. So not very much of that. Obviously it would be more if you're making more eggs. This yellow mustard seed, I'm adding 1/4 teaspoon to the mix. Are you prepping your stuff already?
Well, I'm just getting this.
You're skipping ahead. About 1/2 teaspoon of dill pickled juice. And I actually like a little more, so we're gonna add a little more of that. Also,
Done.
about 1/4 teaspoon. Oh my goodness.
I didn't mean that one.
About 1/4 teaspoon of Worcestershire. So just a few, just like a glug or two. A touch of paprika, again, about 1/4. What are you doing? Glug?
Is that a word?
If you say a few glugs, it's like one of those is a glug.
Right.
Okay, paprika, a little bit of paprika. We're just using about 1/4 teaspoon of this. And salt, we need a pinch of salt.
You want to use the kosher?
Nah, regular. You can use a drop of hot sauce, or you can do a pinch of cayenne, a small pinch of cayenne, okay? Go easy on that one. Let's mix this together.
Fork.
Oh yeah, fork. You can make, when you go to pipe this stuff into the eggs, you can make it so pretty if you have piping bags. We typically just go with the little sandwich baggie method where we cut off the corner, just because that's so easy to do. But if you have piping bags and you're good at that, go for it, because that can actually look really pretty. We should invest in a food processor.
You know, I always think about it. We gotta do that. Sam has those Ninja ones.
Yeah.
I like.
every single time. I only think of it when
I don't know how
I'm
we
making
don't have
something.
one.
I don't either.
Oh, is this one? The one we're gonna do the thing?
This is not the one where we're gonna do the thing. In this bowl here, I have some seafood seasoning. So something like an Old Bay or your favorite seafood seasoning. Put about 1.5 teaspoons or so into a little bowl. I'm also gonna add in some paprika to that. Maybe 1/2 teaspoon, but again, this just depends on how many of the eggs you're making. And then, because I'd like a little bit of heat on ours, I'm gonna add a touch of cayenne to this as well. That's less than 1/4 teaspoon. Mix all of that together. I'm not even quite sure. I might have to make up a little more of this. We'll see how it goes. So this is the part where I say you can skip this step if you want to, but if you want to take it to the next level and just make it look really pretty, put this on a little plate here, kind of evenly. And we're gonna take the egg upside down and dip into the mixture, okay? So you get this sort of look. You get this sort of look on the egg. Now, the more paprika you have, that darker, it's gonna be more rich in color. Are you gonna eat it?
Yeah.
Try and kind of flatten it out each time after you do this so that you make sure you can get it all over the rim there. So now we can pipe in the mixture. Put your baggie into a glass. It just makes it easier to get everything in there. Close up the baggie. And then you just cut off the tip of the bag, however large you want the opening to be. I'm gonna do this over the trash can. Look how pretty those look. You just add just a little bit of extra to these. Standard deviled eggs, take them up a notch by just adding stuff to the rim, and they look so pretty.
Definitely.
We ready?
We're ready.
Ready?
Ready.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. The, what would you call this stuff?
The, I don't know, rim?
The rim flavoring or whatever, that you taste that right away.
It's really smoky because of that smoked paprika. It's really smoky, which I love a smoky flavor. So I love that.
Yeah, but it really does just take the traditional deviled egg up just one notch.
Yeah.
And it has different textures.
All the spices that you get in that seafood mix, you could use paprika, cayenne, all of those red deep spices. You could, some like chili powder or something like that. That's gonna give you that same type of effect. But if you have something like an Old Bay, that's even easier.
All right, for this, I picked a spicy deviled egg, and there's a little bit of cooking involved in this deviled egg, but we're gonna get our eggs, our yolk prepped first in the bowl. Then we're gonna head over to the stove and cook up some bacon, jalapeno with some garlic.
So he's already prepped the majority of the ingredients here. There's some chopped jalapeno, very finely diced, okay, really small. In this case, we already have cooked bacon. If you are not new here, you know that we almost always have cooked bacon available. It's something we cook up every single week so that we have available for breakfast. So chopped up bacon right here. What is that, 1 piece?
It's 1.5 pieces.
1.5, okay. Already some cream cheese measured out here. This is 1 ounce. And then some mayo. Ooh, that would have been bad. Some mayo here that's already measured out as well. So
do you think we need to soften the cream cheese at all?
That's probably a good idea. So just so you guys are aware, normally what you would do if you don't already have cooked bacon, make the bacon over in a pan, then you would use that leftover bacon fat to saute your ingredients. Since we already have cooked bacon, we're just gonna actually add a little bit of bacon fat to the pan so that we can cook the ingredients in it.
And while that's warming, I'm gonna go ahead and add the other ingredients to the mixture here so that once we have the warm ingredients, we can put it right in, mix it all up together. Just 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise, 1 ounce of cream cheese, a teaspoon of brown mustard, about a 1/2 teaspoon of sriracha. It can probably be adjusted to your own palate for spiciness. Cayenne, 1/4 teaspoon.
These are gonna be spicy.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to challenge myself. I had some green salsa at our church last night for dinner, and it ratcheted up the heat. So I'm almost trying to match that, I think, here. All right, we'll head over to the stove. Drop in the jalapeno until it softens. Let's add the bacon in to warm that. And shortly behind that will be the garlic. Ooh, that hits the nostrils. And drop that mixture in with our room temperature ingredients and then start to mix it together.
This actually smells really good.
It does.
Yeah, it's pungent. You could definitely save back some of the like little slices of jalapeno and
Yeah,
then
for the
some
top.
bacon for a garnish.
Yeah.
Let's put this into our piping bag. Cut our corner.
Do I get to try some?
Wait till we try this one. You may not want to
Well, yeah.
deal with the
Like,
heat.
I'm nervous about this one.
Mmm.
That is really good.
That is so good.
That is so good.
Oh my goodness.
It is not that spicy.
Well, it has a cream cheese.
There it is.
Yeah, it's in the back of your throat.
Yeah, it hits at the end, but
It's that sriracha.
that is
That is delicious.
amazing.
I really like that one.
That is really, really good. If you like just a little bit of kick, I would highly suggest making this one. I still think you can make it with the same concept. Just make sure you take out the seeds of the jalapeno. Don't add quite as much cayenne. I still think you can add sriracha, so there's just like a little bit of that sriracha flavor, but you're gonna miss the heat. If you leave,
Yeah, if you're making it for people that like spice, you just double down on all your spicy elements. Your jalapeno, leave the seeds in. Your sriracha, double that up. Your cayenne. It's so good though, especially that that cream cheese gives it a smoothness.
okay, next deviled egg, we are making a Boursin cheese. Boursin, yeah, you heard me right. There's no denying this one is gonna be delicious. I'm only gonna be making 6 halves of this because we just don't need to make that many eggs. You guys know, we talked about that the last recipe. So if you're making a full recipe, you would use half of a Boursin. I'm only gonna use about 1/4. Well, if you've never added this to scrambled eggs, you're missing out on like one of the best things you can eat, okay? Just FYI. It's not a cheap cheese, okay? Like you have to anticipate, this thing is, at least the store that I got it from, it was $8. So it's not inexpensive. Fortunately, most of the recipes that at least I use them for, you don't have to use the whole thing. Now, you want to add sour cream. We're gonna use Greek yogurt in place of sour cream, just about a tablespoon. Let's add a pinch of salt and a small pinch of pepper. If you feel like it's too thick, I would add more of that sour cream, and that's gonna help to kind of loosen it up a little bit. I'm not even sure we're ready for this. I mean, these flavors, I'm already anticipating just amazing. Okay, let's just make these look really pretty by adding some green. Obviously, not necessary, but you know, just adding a little extra. And for the purpose of just a little bit more color, the ever so slightest bit of paprika. Okay, I'm not sure how else to elevate the look of these. I think that the flavor is gonna be phenomenal. I'm not even sure the parsley looks the best. It might actually be better to just garnish the platter with parsley, you know, adding a little bit of green there. So I think the neat thing here is that you think you're just getting a traditional deviled egg, but then you try it. Are you ready to try deviled eggs?
Yes.
So these are the Boursin cheese ones.
Did you tell them what our first kind of major experience with Boursin was?
No, you can if you want. I mean, I told them they need to put it in
Scrambled eggs.
Scrambled eggs, yeah.
Yeah. So one time when we were at a work conference for my work in Las Vegas, we went to Caesar's Palace. We tried a couple breakfast buffets. We did the one next door, but then Caesar's Palace was a little more expensive, and it's, as you can imagine, a Vegas buffet would be if you haven't been there. But we tried the scrambled eggs, and normally I don't think you'd try that on a fancy buffet, but it was probably the best thing at that buffet. And later we realized, I think we just Googled it. And the recipe.
Well, it said it on the tag.
It said Boursin scrambled eggs.
Yeah. And they were,
so delicious.
So whatever you have left over, mix it in your scrambled eggs. It's as you would expect. Just good.
It's just it's kind of a unique cheese flavor. I don't know how I would explain it. Man, that's good, and it stays in your mouth.
Well, that's the garlic herb. I think there's 4 different kinds of Boursin. Boursin, I don't know how you say it, but I think there's 4 different kinds. This is the garlic herb. There's other ones, like there's a chive and onion. There's a couple different things that you could use, but I just use the regular garlic and herb, and it's very good. And I mean, you guys saw too on that one, it's very little ingredients because that Boursin cheese is so pungent and it's got so much flavor. If you've ever made a Boursin cheese pasta, it's fantastic. But because that cheese has so much flavor, you don't have to add a ton of other ingredients. Now this one is really interesting. Very different from any other deviled egg I've ever had before. I'm not gonna put them on the platter yet because these actually get fried, okay? So, I guess it's fried, but technically it's more like sauteed because the whole thing is not gonna get submerged in oil. You'll see. It sounds so interesting. I'm so intrigued by this. Okay, so taking my yolks out, and again, not making a full recipe because we just don't need that many eggs. We're gonna make the mixture, but then there's also a sauce that you drizzle on the top. Okay, so I have 3 yolks here. I need to add in some grated minced garlic. Pretty decent amount, like kind of a shocking amount for this. I'm gonna do a teaspoon and a half-ish. I'm going to add some parsley. And if I see any large pieces, I'm gonna try and get them cut again. I really don't want any really, really big pieces. I'd like for the majority of them to be small. You could probably use dried parsley for this, but you guys know I pretty much always have parsley on hand or some sort of other fresh herb with the garden. I'm doing about 2 tablespoons, so it's a decent amount in here. A little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Here we're doing a squeeze of lemon juice, just a little bit here, about like so. Then about 2 tablespoons of milk. And because I only have 3 yolks in there, I'm gonna do probably a tablespoon and a half. I'm gonna start with a fork, and then if I get it to a decent consistency, I'll move to a spoon. There is a chef, a famous chef that makes these, and I cannot pronounce his name, so I am going to leave it in the description box. Okay, now before I fill the eggs, I am going to make up the sauce that we are gonna drizzle all over the top. And for that, I'm gonna take just a little bit of our egg mixture over into here. Touch of lemon juice again. About a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And I probably have just a tablespoon left. Okay, I'm gonna drizzle with oil. We're looking for a couple of tablespoons. Let's test that and see where we are. It's kind of a dressing consistency, like almost like a salad dressing consistency. You can add a little bit of water to it as well if you need that to thin it out. Let's fill these. Now, I'll tell you, this recipe, it's pretty interesting because I can't find the exact instructions on how to do this. I had to search high and low just to be able to find even the ingredients for this. And then I couldn't figure out exactly how they're done. So we're gonna experiment a little bit, but I'm thinking just based on what we're doing next, that you don't fill these as high as you would fill a traditional devil's egg. Deviled egg. Now we're gonna take these over to the stove top because these are gonna go upside down in a saute pan. Then we're gonna drizzle with our dressing. This first one is definitely a test because I have absolutely no idea exactly how this is gonna go, okay? But here goes nothing. Oh, I didn't mean to turn it over. No, back over. Okay, I think we're close actually. Ooh, that looks good. Okay, I'm kind of pressing down so that the whole egg gets a little bit brown. Oh, that one, maybe put a little bit too much in. All right, now we're gonna take that sauce that we made and we're just gonna drizzle all over the top of these. These are the sauteed ones that I was telling you about.
Oh, is that like a mustard sauce on the top?
Yeah, it's a Dijon kind of. It's good. It's really interesting.
Did the stuff not fall out when you sauteed
No,
it?
what I don't know.
It almost hardens the yolk a little bit.
Yeah, it does. So I think this is good, but I do think that a little bit of sour cream or mayo in that mixture would help the mixture a little bit to be more creamy because you only have the milk in there. And maybe if you blend it really, really well, it would be better. But I think that, I don't know, it's something about, the yolk has a different texture for sure. So otherwise, I mean, the flavor is really good. And the little vinaigrette, I think that's awesome. Like I would actually put the vinaigrette on any of the other deviled eggs for sure.
It draws the eye.
Yeah. Our verse today comes from Romans 1:16. For I'm not ashamed of the gospel, because it is the power of God that brings salvation to everyone who believes, first to the Jew, then to the Gentile. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you need more inspiration in the kitchen, check out the video that I have listed above. You're going to get even more encouragement and inspiration there. I hope you're having a great week.